Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is September 25th, and today's episode on the Rocket Pool side is going to cover news of the rewards night and the ratio getting locked in for that. We're going to be talking about Thomas G leaving the community, and a whole bunch of other things. In staking news, we're going to be talking about NodeSet again, probably be talking about them every day for the next month. And then on the Ethereum side, we're going to be talking about the ETF flows. We're also going to be talking about more on-chain stuff with ENS, and we're going to be talking about Visa doing real-world asset stuff and a whole lot more. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Okay, so every 4 weeks, it's rewards night in Rocket Pool land, and today is, well, in about 12 hours time from when I'm recording it, we're going to get a new rewards period starting, and that means that for those node operators who are above 10% collateral, they'll be getting some RPL rewards. Now, how do you know if you are over 10% collateral? Well, the ratio has been locked in. Now, since Houston, we get this 24 hours before, about 24 hours before the actual snapshot happens for the rewards. So the ratio is locked in, and that is at 0.00419. So this is a new low on rewards night ratio. So it looks like there'll be a whole lot of node operators who were previously eligible for rewards last month, but might have missed the cutoff this time. I'm not here to call any lows or anything like that, but it really does feel like we are at lows. Yeah, I know I shouldn't be saying that, so I'm sorry. But yeah, if you want to get RPL rewards and you are just under 10%, then it might be worth it to top up, because I think a whole lot of node operators, maybe even like 70% or maybe even higher than that now, are under collateralized on the protocol. So you'll be getting, really decent rewards if you are over collateral. That might be interesting for you to do that. Okay, next we got this Events DAO Rocket Watch output, and it said PDAO Bootstrap mode, new recurring spend. The Incentive Management Committee will be awarded 2 times 11,067 RPL. And there was some information, and people were just like, wait, what's going on over here? Like, why are they getting 2 times these rewards? And Val was kind enough to explain it. He says, in case anyone is curious about the IMC thing, we're just taking baby steps towards using the recurring spend feature. This gets us the same total amount over 2 periods, with the main difference being that Langers doesn't have to push out a payment. Instead, the IMC can pull their own claim. This is future looking. We'll do bigger batches than 2 periods, of course, and we can expect the GMC to use this feature also. So yeah, the amounts that the IMC and the GMC gets are fixed, and with this feature, we'll just be able to get the money instead of Langers having to do that. So it gives the PDAO a little bit more control into our own hands, which of course is really great to see. Okay, we got some interesting news in the Rocket Pool community, and this is from yesterday morning, and I could have covered this in yesterday's episode, but we didn't have the full details of what was going on, so I decided against it. But today we have a little bit more information, so I figured it's a good time to cover this, because the word is kind of getting out across the Rocket Pool community anyway, and it might make sense to just kind of stop any unsubstantiated rumors or anything like that spreading. So Thomas G, for those of you who don't know, is one of Rocket Pool's biggest node operators. He's one of RPL's biggest holders, and he is an extremely benevolent member of the community. He's given thousands of RPL to the RPL benefactor to distribute to the community, and also has done like really, really cool things in the Rocket Pool community over a number of years. So Thomas is awesome. We all love Thomas. However, Thomas had some node issues recently, and I think there were some words that were spoken to Thomas that weren't nice, and people didn't really call that out or anything like that. I guess people just kind of got on with it. But yesterday, Jasper saw that Thomas, I guess he was trying to tag in something or something like that, and his name wasn't coming up in the server. So he said, "Did Thomas G leave the server?" And that kind of, I said I can't tag him, and then Sneaky Ninja guy was saying that it was maybe because people shouted at him or anything like that, and And yeah, there was a lot of ideas about what might have caused Thomas to leave the server and what that might mean for our bags. In all honesty, like I think a few people were definitely thinking that. But yeah, Thomas, of course, was still in the Arrow server because that's the company he runs. So people were kind of like unsure of what was going on. There was a lot of unsubstantiated, like, speculation that was going across, and looking for Al said, people treat others badly and then they get surprised when they leave. And yeah, so anyway, Bossy actually replied in trading this morning, and he said that I spoke to Thomas. He's just taking a break, he said. So Thomas has had a really busy few months. He had his car accident, of course. I think he's been really busy with Arrow stuff, and I guess, a node running a node might not be his number one priority in life anymore. So I'm just speculating, of course, some unsubstantiated speculation coming from me. But I also talked to Thomas, and I'm hoping that, he knows that we still value him as a member of the Rocket Pool community, and really, when he's ready, we'll welcome him back with open arms. So people are just happy that, he's okay and that he's just taking a break. So hopefully he can return whenever he feels comfortable to do so. And I already miss having people like Marceau around. Of course, he's still around sometimes, but nowhere near as much as he used to be. And Thomas is in the Discord less often now as well. But thankfully, it's not something bigger, and it's just that he needs a break, which I think is fair. Okay, we got Constantine Finance here. Constantine from Fringe Finance here, talking about the new protocol, which is launching their version 2.5, and users will be able to use ETH for lending, borrowing, looping, and margin trading. So if you are interested in any of those activities and you want a shiny new protocol in which to take part with that stuff, then you can check out Fringe Finance. Before I continue, I have no stake in Fringe Finance. I don't hold their token. I don't even know if they have a token. I have never used their platform. They haven't paid me for any of this messaging, anything like that. It's just there's a protocol here using ETH, so I figured I'd give them a shout out. So they've got an article that came out a few weeks ago, kind of just talking about what they're doing, who they are, and how it all works. So I'll let you all give that a read, and you can find out if it's something that you want to interact with or not. But like I said, me covering them on Rocket Fuel is not an endorsement or anything like that. It's just highlighting that there is a protocol out there that will let you do these things. So they said that Fringe Finance version 2.5 represents a significant evolution in DeFi functionality by supporting select LPs, ERC 4626 tokens, and more meme coins, enhancing our technical infrastructure and enabling a host of new cases. We're empowering users to maximize their capital efficiency and engage in sophisticated financial strategies. It says we're thrilled to see how all DeFi enthusiasts, from yield farmers to arbitragers, will explore new possibilities offered by Fringe Finance version 2.5. Join us as we continue to push the boundaries of what's possible in decentralized finance. So yeah, if you are interested in that, the links are in the description. You can go and check that out. Okay, moving on to some staking news now. So we actually got some news coming out of the NodeSet community. I think, like I was saying in the intro, like we'll probably be covering NodeSet pretty much every day now until their project, the protocol launches. Whenever there's anything happening, I'll definitely give them a shout out on Rocket Fuel. But here I recorded a special episode with Wanda last night on Tuesday, and it released today on Wednesday. And I said that this is a special episode, and Wanda, who's a co-founder of NodeSet, gives technical details on their protocol. So it includes, their design choice decisions, how they got everything together for their hyperdrive and their constellation module. And then we actually spent a good few minutes talking about different parts of their protocol that are centralized, and if people want to use their protocol based on that information, they can make an informed decision. We talked about like what it will look like for a node operator to join. So we talked about the recruitment process, but more than that, we talked about installation of the software, getting their node set up, getting their validators set up, and how that's going to look, especially with that 1 ETH temporary bond that you have to provide for 12 to 24 hours, depending on as it goes through the scrub check. And then we talked about steps that will have to be taken for launch, and what needs to be done between now and launch, and audits and all the things that came up with them, and then what's up next. So what they're going to work on next, what they're looking forward to for Constellation, and all things like that. So if you want to watch that, follow the tweet below. The second post in that has links to the YouTube video, also podcast. You can get the RSS feed there, and a whole bunch of different podcast providers. You can find their information there as well. So if you are interested in listening to that episode, just follow the links below and you can get that. And then there was actually a little bit of a funny back and forth that happened in trading yesterday. And this was a sneaky ninja guy installing Hyperdrive software and the Constellation module. And he says for accessing the Constellation mini pool commands, the code is Hyperdrive CS and an M. So CSM, and they were just kind of joking about how it might be like a Lido front or something like that. Of course, that's just jokes. Yeah, it's something whack promoter in this show. So I've been getting a lot of stick in the Rocket Pool community about having Demi on from NodeSet. Sorry, not from NodeSet, from Lido, talking about CSM. So yeah. Anyway, what happened was I was teasing Joe and kind of laughing with him about it and telling him about how I'm going to use Hyperdrive, which is their the Node software, and I'm going to run CSM on there, which I'm not running CSM, just to be clear. And he says, if Joe actually said if they give us a grant to make a module, I'd probably do it. So Demi, then I tagged him, and he says feel free to propose your ideas. So there might be a chance that you can use Hyperdrive eventually to run CSM module if you want. However, here Rocknet says, I'm pretty sure this came up in the office I was called yesterday. They more likely need to get in line as there are other modules already on the board. This might have come up right after one asked you. Yeah. So it looks like the word out of NodeSet is that if Lido want to pay for it, they'll do it. But they've also got other stuff that they're wanting to work on first, which is potentially a solo staker module. So solo stakers can use Hyperdrive, and a whole bunch of other things as well that they want to work on. So that looks really exciting. So definitely keep your eyes open for that. And you can get some information about the kind of stuff that NodeSet are planning for Hyperdrive in my special episode of Rocket Fuel that I did with Wanda, because we actually talk about some of these things in that episode. And then if you haven't had enough of NodeSet so far, then NodeSet are kind of doing the rounds on the social different media platforms. And of course they were on the ETH Finance podcast on Friday, and today they are actually right now as I'm speaking, they are on ETH Staker, and I think it's just Wanda from the team kind of presenting that position. So you can have a look there and see. But also taking part in the call is Ken, and people from ETH Staker. We have Nixo and a whole bunch of others as well. So give that a listen if you are interested in getting a different perspective. And if anything big came out of that call, I'd cover it tomorrow's episode. Okay, still sticking with staking news, it looks like staking rewards on Ethereum are going up, and that is probably partly due to activity coming back to mainnet. Like we talked about in yesterday's episode, gas prices are going up. When gas prices go up, you can normally see arbitrages, MEV bots kind of trying to get in on the act and trying to eke out some money for themselves. And of course they pay fees to node operators, and the node operating rewards go up. So it looked like on September 3rd, the numbers were like down to 3%, but now it's up to nearly 3.5%, which is a healthy increase in the last 3 weeks, which is really cool to see. On the Rocket Pool side, our ETH APR has been kind of lagging that a little bit. Of course, you have to remember that a certain percentage of that goes to commission. So our ETH APR is currently, it's there's this Rocket Watch output here that I'm sharing. So 9-day average is 2.56%, and then without effectiveness drag virtual is 2.8%. So Thomas's validators being down actually did hurt Rocket Pool's ETH rewards, but that is actually price is trending upwards now as well. So you can see that it's approaching back to that 3% number soon, hopefully, and then get higher as well. So yeah, it's just ETH, you pay a commission as a token holder, so that impacts your APR, but also that there are other factors that can kind of impacting that at the moment. But if you want the best rewards, of course, you become a node operator with like Rocket Pool. Others are out there as well, but with ETH only validators coming up potentially, and then Saturn 1 and Saturn 2 especially, I think it's going to be really profitable for node operators to be Rocket Pool node operators. Okay, moving on to some Ethereum news now, and here we have news of a big daily flow for BlackRock's ETH ETF. So this actually made news. It made people quite happy because it feels like it's been doldrums on the ETF side for a while. So if we go to Farside and have a look, you can see that more than half the days in the last couple of weeks have been outflow days. Not big outflow days, except the day before yesterday. So that had 80 million outflows from ETH, which of course is Grayscale's ETH. But we had big inflows yesterday into BlackRock's ETH. So that is that's kind of balanced out. However, it's kind of depressing to look at this, but outflows have strongly overpowered inflows since the ETFs began trading, and that shows that we've had net outflows of $625 million worth of ETH, which is a whole lot of money. That's added sell pressure onto Ether token. Of course, if that number was positive, then that would have been buy pressure overall. Since I've not covered the ETF stuff on Rocket Fuel in a while, it's just depressing to look at. We've seen that the rate of exit for GBTC has actually slowed down now compared to how much BTC has been lost from the GBTC trust in the equivalent time period. It looks like we're still heading towards that 40% number where it looks like the GBTC trust has settled, but the ETF has settled, but we've still got a ways to go before we get there. But it looks like the rate of exit has slowed down a little bit. But that's where we stand right now. Still outflows more than inflows, but hopefully that big inflow day to BlackRock's ETF is a sign of things to come. And I think what's really interesting is that BlackRock still haven't had any outflow days so far. I'm not sure if that's fully the case or if they've had very minimal outflows, but they're up to $1.1 billion in their ETF now. So that's actually pretty cool. Okay, Brantley here had some information coming out of ENS land, and here he says that the Ethereum Follow Protocol EFP is now live on mainnet. EFP is decentralized on-chain social graph protocol for Ethereum accounts, new primitive of the Ethereum identity stack, complementing other elements like ENS and SIWE that sign in with Ethereum and can enhance any crypto app. So it says let's have a look at what else there is. So if you want, you can go and have a look at the EFP app. So that's ethfollow.xyz. And it says you'll need base ETH, and you can bridge some ETH to base with Coinbase in these bridges, and then there's links. So it says what is it for? It isn't a Twitter clone, so there's no posting, and it doesn't have its own name and profile system. It solely uses ENS. That's the one true crypto SYS, and this is instead of creating a social graph layer that can be used to enhance all the things we're already doing in crypto. So you can have a look at what's going on, like people who are following each other and other followers in common, and etc. So it gives you an idea of people that you're interacting with and whether they're in your social graph or anything like that. So you can get a good idea of whether it's a scammer or not potentially. So that's pretty cool. So what can you do? You can follow and tag other Ethereum accounts. You can pick your top 8 like MySpace back in the day. This is we've got a leaderboard and feed of your EFP friends, chain activity via interface app as a demo. But EFP is meant to be used in other apps, giving context for who accounts are and contacts, etc. And then it's for all crypto apps. So they're saying that anywhere you show an address, you should be showing an ENS domains name, avatar, etc. And now your EFP can also show how it's enshrined in the community, providing more context for who they are, follower counts, following, etc., friends of friends, etc., and EFPs for everyone. So we're launching the app in more than 70 languages, which is actually really amazing. And they've got some really fun translations as well, such as Ermagersh. I have no idea what that is. So yeah. So if you're interested in this, EFP is a public good developed by a non-profit and intended to be credibly neutral, part of the internet, and all of the funding is from grants. So ENS DAO, I think, has been paying big chunk of that. So it's really cool. And here are some of the links that you can follow as well. So if you are interested in EFP, I haven't actually set this up for myself yet, but I'm definitely curious on doing that. I think it'd be really cool to have my face show up whenever my address shows up. So that's pretty awesome. But I'll definitely be checking that out myself, and maybe you should too. Okay, next we've got some news of more TradFi stuff coming onto Ethereum, and this is with Visa here. And Visa, of course, have been slowly moving onto crypto stuff for a number of years now. But here it's Cointelegraph shares information that Visa launches a tokenized asset platform to assist banks in testing tokenized assets and smart contracts. So Spain's BBVA is leading the charge, aiming for a 2025 pilot on Ethereum. So BBVA is a bank that recently integrated crypto activities. I covered that on Rocket Fuel a few weeks ago. And now it looks like they're working with Visa to get real world assets on chain and working on Ethereum. So this is absolutely great. The comment section for this is kind of hilarious, where people are literally laughing, saying this is on Ethereum. It should have been better on Solana, and other things like that. But mostly, of course, this just makes sense because Ethereum is a place where you have the most security, 100% uptime, but also credible neutrality. You have amazing liquidity and assets already on the network. So for a team that wants to build with all of those things in mind, there is nothing better than Ethereum for them to build on. And this is actually really awesome to see. So good stuff. Okay, so now, for example, if you have some money in your bank account and you want to get that on chain, what's the best way to do that? You can send that to an exchange, which, if you wire it, you have to pay money. If you do ACH in the US or some kind of bank transfer, it could take, maybe minutes, but maybe hours or days to get your money to the exchange. At that point, then you have to swap your USD to a stable coin, whatever that might be. And then from there, you withdraw it to your account. It's a whole cumbersome process. There's a whole bunch of different companies now that are kind of simplifying that flow, including, big crypto companies like Uniswap and others like MetaMask. But here we have Dymo, who are introducing their system called Landline, and they're saying this is the fastest way to turn USD in your bank to USDC on chain, available only in the US for now, but more locales are coming soon. So it looks like it's really, really straightforward with the way it works. And they're saying there's no fees involved. It only takes 15 seconds, basically one block on Ethereum. But this is, I think, happening on a layer 2. So it's looking actually really good. And they're saying that it works both ways. So you can actually send money back to your bank really quickly as well. And the app is out today. So there is KYC required to use this. But it looks like they are making onboarding with crypto as easy as possible, and that is, of course, awesome to see. So I haven't used this app myself yet. As always, the standard disclaimers: I'm not invested in this or any of that kind of stuff. Okay, next we have more hype coming out of Optimism and the OP superchain. So here they are giving a lot of hype to the interoperability standard that they're working with on the Optimism superchain, and they're saying that one integration equals instant access to all users and assets across the entire superchain. So they said before, your superchain, you would have your app that would be deployed to all these different instances of superchain layer 2s. But once we have the superchain interoperability, your app will be deployed once and it will go onto all of those, and they'll be communicating with each other as well. So it'll just be like, one giant mesh network, and you will be in there and everything will be awesome. If you are a user, you can interact with an app regardless of what part of the superchain you're on. Wherever your funds are, you'll get that. So Optimism is saying that, with superchain interoperability, you'll get fungible portable assets for your users, no network switching, no bridge hunting. Using the superchain will feel like using one single chain. So this is the great place that we want to be. And a lot of the FUD that we're getting with Ethereum and fragmented liquidity, etc., that will be solved very quickly. However, there are some caveats. It looks like the different big chains are kind of doing their own version of this. So Arbitrum are doing their own version of this. ZK Sync are doing their own version of this. Polygon, I think, are working on the AG layer. So it looks like we're going to end up with 5, maybe 10 at most, kind of versions of the superchain, where there'll be hundreds, maybe thousands of chain L2s built within that, but all working seamlessly together. Now, whether we can get those 5 or 10 talking to each other, that's going to be really interesting. And I think that there'll be some interesting things happening with base rollups, where you can potentially get them talking to each other through there. But I know that a lot of incredibly super smart people are working on this, and we're taking running steps towards this, leaps and bounds towards this happening. So I'm super excited about it, because I think Ethereum usability is just going to go up 10x or 100x because of things like this. Okay, I'm going to finish today's episode with some idea that Sasal shared, and kind of how people have been responding to it. So Anthony says, my North Star for my involvement with crypto has always been to help make ETH the most valuable asset in existence, and to help ensure that Ethereum becomes a global hub for on-chain economy. Ethereum and ETH are symbiotic. One cannot exist and thrive without the other. So, but that I think is a really, really great stance, for Anthony to talk about what makes it important for him to be in crypto. There was this really interesting take as well that we got from Liam, saying people often criticize Ethereum for not having a North Star per se. He said, I'd argue that by not linking ourselves to a single narrative, the Ethereum community gets to thrive on all fronts without restraints and unburdened by the guardrails that have been set in place to seek out one specific future that may or may not materialize for the betterment of humanity. He goes on to say, we're building an infinite garden, a decentralized censorship-resistant on-chain financial system and story machine that will spawn limitless possibilities for millennia. Let's not limit ourselves to a single narrative, and continue to do what the Ethereum community and humanity does best: discover and advance through exploration. So this is actually a really interesting idea. I think a lot of what Anthony here is saying resonates with me. I also, and many others, who are listening right now, work in crypto, work in Ethereum every day. And the reason why we do that is because we think of crypto as a way out of a lot of the limitations and burdens that have been put upon us by traditional finance systems and ownership economies, etc., and things like that. And by working on Ethereum and working with each other through these apps and this amazing developments that are going on, we'll actually be able to help the world, which is, I think, really idealistic, but we're actually helping ourselves at the same time, in a sense, because as more and more people come online to Ethereum, ETH, the token, of course, will become more valuable. Most of the people who are listening to this actually hold ETH or hold alts with the idea of converting into more ETH later, and that's our goals, and we want that to succeed. So I think this is really interesting. There's some interesting replies that kind of came up here about what are the 3 options, 3 actions that you've taken to help. So he says, education via EtherHub and Daily Gwei, investing in early stage Ethereum projects, advising and helping various Ethereum projects. So, this is him every day working out there and trying to make Ethereum as great as possible. And that's what we're all doing in our own ways, right? So, on that note, I'm going to end today's episode. So thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all have a lovely day ahead, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.